Pag-usapan natin mga kababayan yung mga statement ni Sara Duterte sa kanyang online press con kagabi na ang sabi niya, handa na siya na maaresto in case magpalabas yung ICC ng warrant of arrest. VP Sara admits possibility Father Rodrigo Duterte might not return to Philippines. She is ready, mga kababayan, na harapin na lang yung warrant of arrest na posibleng ilabas anytime ng ICC.
Because they could not get justice in the country. I think that's one thing that nobody wants to acknowledge, is that there was a failure of our justice system for a long time.
Congressman Johnny Pimentel, pakinggan natin yung opening statement.
For the information of everyone, this is the continuation of the hearing of the TRICOM Committee, composed of the Committee on Public Order and Safety, Information and Communication.
Nagbabagang mga balita at pagtalakay sa mga isyu ng lipunan. Bulsa! Opinyon, banat at paglalantad sa katotohanan. Bulsa! What you see is what you get. You decide.
Pag-usapan natin mga kababayan yung mga statement ni Sara Duterte sa kanyang online press con kagabi na ang sabi niya, handa na siya na maaresto in case magpalabas yung ICC ng warrant of arrest. Si Bato de la Rosa po, nasa secret location na. Nagtatago na yata, mga kababayan. Hindi umobra yung angas ni Bato na, make my day, anya. Ngalngal ka ng ngalngal, Trillanes. Gusto mo, anya, pumunta ka rito, ikaw pa yung magposa sa akin. Tatakbo man lang pala, mga kababayan, si Bato. Mas matapang pa si Laila de Lima, na isang babae, mga kababayan. Inarap yung mga kaso. Nagpakulong. Si Bato po, sekreta niya, nasa secret location ngayon. Hindi na makapangampanya. Malamang sa malamang, matalo. Pati si Bongo, mga kababayan, kasi iisipin ng ating mga mamamayan Filipino, useless anyang iboto sila. Kasi, ikukulong man lang sa The Hague, katulad mga kababayan ni Digong. And si Sara po, sabi ni Sara, tanggap na niya ang kinahinatnan ng kanyang tatay. Ayan VP Sara admits possibility Father Rodrigo Duterte might not return to Philippines.
Talaga akong nararamdaman, hindi ako galit, hindi ako disappointed, nothing at all. Kasi pointless naman na mag-harbor ako ng feelings about what happened. Hindi na siya maibabalik. Hindi na mababalik si Pangulong Duterte sa Pilipinas. So what we should do as a country is move on from what happened. No? What will we do as our ways forward as a country and as a people from what happened? Magalit man tayo, walang papupuntahan yung galit natin. So we should move forward from what happened, and the country should decide, the people should decide saan ba tayo papunta base sa nangyari.
Nasa stage of acceptance sa mga kababayan, kung sa psychology, the 5 stages of grief. Tanggap na niya na wala na yung kanyang tatay, hindi na makakabalik dito sa Pilipinas, pero buhay pa. Nasa The Hague. Una, sa stages of grief, mga kababayan, denial. Then, anger, yung galit po. Kahit tumbling-tumbling pa po. Pati yung mga supporters ni Digong, mga DDS. Kahit mag-tumbling-tumbling po kayo. Ibas pa ninyo yung ICC, mga judges. And in fact, imbis makatulong, sabi ng mga experts, ICC experts, malamang niya madagdagan ng kaso si Digong. Pag nagpatunayan na ito niya organized, ginagawa ng organisadong grupo para siraan yung ICC. So madadagdagan, walang patutunguhan yung anger ninyo. Kumalma kayo. Kalmado na po si Sara. Tapos, pangatlo sa stages, bargaining, nakipag-bargain siya sa mga possible na mga pwedeng makatulong sa kanya. And that could be parte, mga kababayan, yung China. Yung China po, ang sabi, dinina yung asylum request. Then comes depression. Ngayon po, nasa last stage na si Sara. Acceptance of the reality na talagang ito yung consequences ng kanilang mga aksyon. Yan man lang po. You have to face the music. Kasi sabi nga natin, mga kababayan, all of this, wala man sana silang problema. Kayo ni Tim, ayaw tantanan ni Digong. Tapos na siya sa kanyang pagiging Pangulo. Pinagbigyan na siya ng ating mga mamamayang Filipino na makapaglingkod. Gusto pa na siya ang masunod. At siniraan ang siniraan yung ating Pangulo. Tinawag na bangag adik. Araw-araw. Pati ng kanyang mga supporters. So ito, tumama sa kanila. Backfire. Lahat ng kanilang mga ginawa. Inayaan ng ating Pangulo ngayon na bitawan yung Sword of Damocles na nakahang sa kanyang ulo. And that is the ICC warrant served by the Interpol. Nag-cooperate po yung ating gobyerno. Di tapos agad. You see? So ito na ngayon si Sara Duterte. She's resigned to the fate of her father na hindi na niya, hindi na siya naniniwala na makakabalik pa sa Pilipinas mga kababayan si Digong. You see? And she is ready mga kababayan na harapin na lang yung warrant of arrest na posibleng ilabas anytime ng ICC. Yan sabi ni Sara. If the warrant of arrest is released while I am at The Hague, I will surely talk to another lawyer and ask what would be my options. But if the warrant is issued in the Philippines, let's see how the government responds. As a background, Duterte has previously denied all allegations made by self-confessed Davao Death Squad member Arturo Las Cañas that she created o plantukhang during her time as Davao City Vice Mayor at saka Mayor. She dared Las Cañas and those who were accusing her to file the proper charges in the Philippine courts. Iayaw po mga kababayan ng mga accuser nila na mag-file dito. Gusto nila mga kababayan sa ICC. Yan po yung nangyari. Bakit nagkaganon mga kababayan? May paliwanag si DOJ Secretary Remulla. Ito yung paliwanag mga kababayan as reported by Philippine Star sa coverage ng Senate hearing na pinatawag ni Amy Marcos. Kahapon po, pakinggan natin mga kababayan kung bakit doon final sa ICC ng mga war on drugs.
Cases that we are speaking about were filed by their families in the ICC because they could not get justice in the country. I think that's one thing that nobody wants to acknowledge is that there was a failure of our justice system for a long time. And they had to file their cases in the ICC to get any attention at all from anybody who cared. Because for the longest time, ito mga biktima po, yung mga namatayan, yung mga pamilya nilang namatay o kaya napaslang sa drug war, ay wala ho na mapuntahan. Kaya doon ho sila nagpunta sa ICC.
That's why I said, SOJ, na may belief na pag panahon ni Arroyo, it's very hard to go after Arroyo. May truth o hindi in the sense that meron na presidential immunity while you're president. Pero pagkatapos hindi, di ba? That's why after President Erap's time, nakulong siya. After President Arroyo's time, nakulong siya. Di ba? After President Aquino's time, wala naman nag-file ng kaso kay President Aquino. Okay? So kung ang belief, wala kang justice kay Duterte during his time, I won't comment, but that's a belief. But 2008 to 2010, hindi sila nag-file. 2010 to 2016, hindi sila nag-file. And then ngayon, pwede sila mag-file. Di ba? So, and walang so I mean, the ICC should also look at our patterns and system. It's not only the period
Ang problema doon, Senator Cayetano, discretion yon ng mga victims. Feeling kasi ng mga victims, may mga judges pa rito at mga authorities na indebted sa previous administration. Kaya, kahit tapos na yung turno ni Digong, wala pa rin silang tiwala. Itinuloy na lang yung final ng mga victims noong 2017 sa ICC. Yan ang problema Itong problemang ito, nag-create lahat ng problemang ito, yung previous administration. Kumuha siya ng sarili niyang martilyo na inampas sa kanyang ulo. Ganun ang nangyari. Sabi doon po sa Senate hearing mga kababayan, kahapon, napakarami ng mga victims po na napatay, walang police report. Yan po, drug war, AJK cases met with lack of police records. Proper evidence, sabi po ni Remulla. Sabi dyan, in the hearing of the Senate Committee on Foreign Relations, Remulla said that AJK victims were compelled to file cases before the ICC since they failed to get justice in Philippine courts. Remulla said this after Senator Amy Marcos expressed concern that the families of the victims of the so-called AJK were compelled to file lawsuits abroad due to the failure of the local justice system and that the courts are no longer functioning. So sabi ni Remulla, yung problema nga ho rito kasi, yung mga nangyari lalo na sa Mindanao, wala o talagang pagalaw ang mga fiskal nung panahon na yon. Di talaga gumagalaw ang kaso. Meron tong mga nagtangkang magreklamo, ngunit wala pong nangyari, kaya nagpunta sila sa ICC. Remulla also stated that at the height of the anti-drug war, there was a time when nothing happened to AGK cases since they could not get police reports, which made it difficult to start an investigation. He also mentioned that the lack of concrete evidence such as ballistic reports during the time, stating that it's mostly just testimonial evidence. Sa drug war po, walang blatter ang police. Marami mingang walang blatter eh. Ang problema nga dito, napakarami hong namatay na death certificate niya nakalagay cardiac arrest pero may butas po sa ulo mula sa bala. He also admitted problems were encountered during the time because even the prosecutors were being intimidated by the police. Hawak ni Bato po ng Chief PNP, yung police, under order po. So, nag-backfire sa kanila lahat. Tapos, sinisisi ninyo kung bakit sa ICC nag-file yung mga victims. Siyempre, kung hindi makakita ng hustisya, wala silang tiwala kasi lahat hawak. Ayun, pumunta tuloy doon sa ICC. O, tapos, ituturo ninyo yung ating Pangulong Bongbong Marcos kung bakit nakipag-cooperate sa Interpol. Nakipag-cooperate sa Interpol kasi obligated tayo. Hindi ninyo naisip na pag nag-issue ng warrant of arrest yung ICC, pwedeng hingi ng tulong ng ICC, hinga ng tulong ng ICC yung Interpol, in which tayo po ay member. Hindi man tayo umalis. Nakaligtaan ninyo. Talagang niloob na ng ating Panginoon para para tuldukan yung inyong pagmamalabis. You see? O ngayon, yung statement ni Sara na mahirap na makabalik pa dito yung kanyang tatay sa Pilipinas, it is because of the, in-evaluate nila, talagang mahihirapan. Lalo yung sinasabi ng mga legal experts na may experience po sa ICC, na yung defense nila na illegal yung warrant of arrest. Ang narrative nila, kinidnap si Digong. Hindi po siya uobra. Sabi po ni ICC First Filipino Judge Raul Pangalangan, sa kasaysayan anya ng International Criminal Law, ang pinakamalaking kaso sa larangang ito ay hindi nagtatanong kung paano dinala ang akusado sa korte, kundi nakatuon sa mga ebidensya laban sa kanya. So yung narrative na kidnapping nila, that is useless. Hindi man yun pagtutuunan ng pansin kung paano dinala sa dahig. That is immaterial, madaling sabi, sa mga judges ng ICC. Malinaw po yung paliwanag ni First Filipino ICC Judge Raul Pangalangan. Hindi nagtatanong kung paano dinala ang akusado sa korte, kundi nakatuon sa mga ebidensya laban sa kanya. Kaya pagharap ng mga defense lawyers po ni Digong at ni-raise yung kung paano dinala si Digong sa ICC, paano na-aresto, sabi nila kinidnap, sasabihin lang po ng mga judges, you are out of order. We are discussing here the crimes against humanity. It's not on how the accused was brought here. Susupalpalin na ganon, mga kababayan ni Motok. Out of order ka niya. Wala yan sa topic natin. Ang topic natin dito, yung AGK, yung crimes against humanity committed by the accused, former President Rodrigo Roa Duterte. Doon ang discussion natin. Tapos na. Ngayon, sabi ni Sara dito sa balita, wala akong balak tumira sa Netherlands. Sara Duterte building dad Rodi's legal team before flying home. Hindi na po ngayon nakadepende sa mga plano mo po, Sara Duterte, ang iyong future. Nakadepende na yon doon sa ilalabas na ICC warrant. So you are not anymore the master of your fate. Dapat ma-realize mo yan. Yan sabi niya, wala daw siyang intensyon na mag-stay sa Netherlands for good. Pero hindi pa niya ako sigurado kung kailan ako babalik kasi ina-assemble pa niya yung legal team. So sabi niya rito, ensuring Duterte support group is part of her obligation as Vice President considering the former President is also a Filipino citizen. Mayroon akong return ticket sa April. Yun dahil kailangan kasi required siya bago ka makaalis. Mayroon kang return ticket. Hindi ko alam kung hanggang kailan ako rito. Sa totoo lang, dahil hindi pa nabuo ang legal team ni dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte. As Vice President, may obligasyon ako na buuin yung kanyang support group dito para may tumutulong sa kanya na makalabas sa ICC detention. So April pa pala, mga kababayan, next month, malamang sa malamang, may nakasunod na sa kanya. Nakasubaybay na po. Kaya nag-disappear na po si Senator Bato. Sabi dito sa balita, iniwanan si Duterte sa ere. Malacanang expressed its disappointment over Senator Ronald De La Rosa's plan to go into hiding amid the possibility of the ICC ordering his arrest for his role as the chief enforcer of the violent war on drugs. Sabi ni Yussi Castro, ito ba ang gusto niyang ipaiwatig sa taong bayan na kapag may warrant of arrest ay dapat magtago? Hindi po ito makakabuti sa mga kababayan natin na mismong leader natin ay hindi harapin ang anumang kaso o complaint na naisampa o maisasampa laban sa kanya. At hindi po ba sabi natin parang siya nga yata yung medyo umiwan kay dating Pangulong Duterte considering na hindi siya pumunta sa Hong Kong kasama sana nila? Hindi po ba dapat ang kaibigan ay walang iwanan? Walang isang salita po si Bato. Sabi walang iwanan. At hindi siya natatakot. Make my day, Trillanes. Ngal-ngal ka na ngal-ngal, sabi ni Bato. Gusto mo niya, sumama ka pa. Ikaw niya yung pumusa sa akin. Biglang kambyo po. Nang matunugan, hindi na sumama papuntang Hong Kong. Kaya ito mga kababayan na pamilya Duterte, saka mga kaalyado niya, si Bato, si Bungo, lahat sila. Sinira nila yung kanilang karera sa politika. Sila man lang po ang sumira. Kaya yung mga akusasyon na this is politics, malabo po. This is about crimes against humanity. This is about excesses and abuses mga kababayan habang sila ay nasa poder. So ano yung lesson? Huwag magmalabis. Ganon din sa mga DDS. Ngayon, yung mga vloggers nila ay hearing. At malamang sa malamang, pag hindi sila mag-attend ngayon, matutulad sila kay Harry Roque, nasira yung buhay. Tulad sila, sinira nila yung buhay nila. Ito po yung chairman ng Committee on Public Order, Safety and Information Committee, Committee on Technology and Public Information, ang presiding si Congressman Johnny Pimentel. Pakinggan natin yung opening statement.
For the information of everyone, this is the continuation of the hearing of the TRICOM Committee, composed of the Committee on Public Order and Safety, Information and Communications Technology, and Public Information on the privileged speeches of Representative Robert H. Barbers delivered in the plenary on December 4, 2024, entitled Social Media Bloggers, and on December 16, 2024, entitled Bagong Pilipinas Condemn China Fake News. We convene today to continue our crucial inquiry into the pervasive issues of fake news and misinformation that have increasingly threatened our democratic processes, societal cohesion, and individual understanding of truth. In an age where information is at our fingertips, the challenge of discerning fact from fiction has never been more pronounced or more critical. Hindi na po biro-biro ito dahil nagpalaganap na ng mga fake news. Sagad na at walang pakundangan ang mga taong responsable sa pagpakalat nito sa mga epekto sa taong kanilang pinupuntirya. At pati na rin sa bansa, no one is safe, wala nang sinasanto. As we delve deeper into this inquiry, we recognize that the impacts of misinformation are manifold, affecting everything from public health to political discourse, and from social justice movements to personal relationships. Fake news does not merely distort reality, it breeds distrust, fuels division, and undermines the very fabric of informed citizenry that is essential to a thriving democracy. We are here to examine the mechanisms that allow misinformation to proliferate, from social media algorithms that prioritize engagement over truth to the role of various sectors in producing and disseminating false narratives. We must also consider the responsibilities of technology companies, government bodies, and individuals in combating this insidious threat. Moreover, this inquiry aims not only to highlight the problems we face, but to seek solutions. Together, we must explore effective strategies of media literacy, the regulation of digital platforms, and the promotion of credible sources of information. Our commitment to safeguard our collective future from the dangers of misinformation is paramount. To make this hearing more productive, we have invited various resource persons from government agencies, social media influencers, and representatives from social media platforms to explore how they can help address the proliferation of fake news in our country. As mentioned, we're also seeking the expertise of government agencies tasked with combating fake news to understand the extent of their authority in the steps they have taken to address this issue. As we engage in our witnesses and panelists today, I urge all of us to approach this inquiry with open minds and a collaborative spirit. It is only through thoughtful dialogue and a concerted effort that we can uphold the integrity of information and empower individuals to become discerning consumers of news. I look forward to a productive hearing today as we work together to address and mitigate the impacts of fake news and misinformation in our society. Maraming salamat po.
Nandito si JB Ruiz, tapos si Jose Castro. Yung ibang mga in-invite na vloggers, DDS vloggers, nag-attend na po, natakot siguro. Nakita natin si Trixie Cruz Angeles. Ayan si Trixie Cruz Angeles. Tingnan natin kung sino-sino. Pakinggan natin.
Miss Bea Bautista. From Fera Files, we have Miss Ellen Tordesillas, the president and co-founder. From the Press One Philippines, we have Mr. John Hart Aloigan and Mr. Lei Jensen San Diego. Also, we have the following
mga DDS, si
persons.
Reyes,
Miss Elizabeth Joey Cruz,
Edo,
Miss Ethel Pineda, Miss Crisette Laureta Chu,
yan.
Mr. Mark Anthony Lopez,
attend na sila.
Attorney J.D. Aspiras, Dr. Richard Tesoro Mata,
si Mark
and Attorney
Lopez.
Trixie Cruz Angeles. Mr. Chair, I would like to also acknowledge the presence of Congressman Ramon Rodrigo Gutierrez. That's all, Mr. Chair.
Nandiyan na yung mga vlogger.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Yes. May I also request the committee to acknowledge the presence of Mr. Anton Mauricio, who is the Board of Trustee of the Global AI Council, and who could contribute to our discussions today.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
And another person who is Ai Ubaldo, Executive Director of the Creators and Influencer Council and Blockchain Council of the Philippines.
Is she present in the room right?
Tuloy natin yung discussion.
Wala. So then maybe we can invite them next time. We did not include them anymore today because
Yung
they were
inquirer,
already
yung
present during the last
nilinin.
hearing.
Does that follow, Mr. Chair, that because nobody questioned them in the last hearing, they can simply absent themselves today?
Si
We
Marcoleta.
required them to attend the last hearing. And now we have invited other resource persons. May I inquire from the COMSEC, were they invited today? So that we will be fair. According to COMSEC, Congressman Marcoleta, the Philippine Daily Inquirer and Philippine Star were not invited.
So we know the reason why they were not invited today, Madam Chair. The COMSEC has the liberty to decide on this, or the chairperson are the ones who are authorized to decide on whether to invite people or not.
Kung Marcoleta, you know the process. For every hearing, we have a set of resource persons to be invited.
I know that, Mr. Chair.
yun
But
ang
what I'm
ginagawa
saying
natin.
is, there was a
they were
commitment.
It is already very clear that they were not invited today. Because, to be fair with them, they were present during the last hearing and nobody asked questions. Kaya nga, hindi na sila inibita because we are focusing on other resource persons.
Kaya nga po, yun ang gusto kong itanong.
If that would be the case, if you would like to really insist, then we will invite them. Or if you want, if you can wait, we will call them and have them come here to send a representative. But let's not make this an issue. This will delay the hearing.
I am
Concept,
not
can you
making
please,
this an issue, Mr. Chair. I am simply asking kung sakali pong hindi sila
Hindi nga natin
natanong.
na-imbita, Congressman Marcoleta. I'm
Yun nga
sorry
po,
to
why
say.
would the COMSEC decide by themselves? Sana po themselves. Sana po yung chair ang magdi-decide. Yun lang naman po ang punto. The COMSEC cannot decide on who to invite or who cannot be invited. And chair po ang may prerogative.
It was a prerogative of the chairman not to invite them because they were not asked questions already. In fairness to them, they were diligent in attending the previous hearing, but unfortunately, nobody asked them a question. So it would be redundant to ask them to be present here again. So let me now proceed, Mr. Marcoleta, to other matters.
May I ask that the short video, Mr. Chair, be shown, because that will provide context already.
In that case, COMSEC, please.
Ng Iglesia ni Manalo. Iglesia ni Manalo na Diablo na nagsasabing Iglesia daw ni Kristo. Itong si Marcoleta ay talagang demonyo din na katulad po ni Kibuloy. Paano ko nasabi? Mamaya po papaliwanag ko sa inyo kung gaano po kademonyo yung putang inang Marcoletang ito. Itong malaking matang itong diputang ito na masasabi mo talagang diablo rin katulad ni Kibulok.
Mr. Chair, yung vlogger na yan, ang pangalan niya sa social media is Epipanyo Labrador. Hindi ko po siya kilala. Narinig po ninyo kung murahin niya yung aking relihiyon na kinabibilangan. At pati po ako'y pinagmumura niya, tinawag po niya akong demonyo, lahat. Pero hindi po ako kumikibo. Ang sinasabi ko lang, kung tayo talaga ay i-address po natin ang mga ganitong klaseng paninira na mga narratives, ay siguro po pati itong mga ganitong klaseng tao ay may patawag din natin. Ako po, kahit na po ano pang sabihin nila, I will just stay as I am. As transparent and as accountable as I am. Because right now, what we need are people that can probably criticize us to the height of even abusing their rights. Pero ako po, walang problema sa kanila. Ay darating din po ang panahon that these people will be rendered useless. At wala nang maniniwala sa kanila until time will come na masasabi ng tao that they are stupid, useless people and they are simply liars. Tayo po, ang ating role lang basta ayusin lang po natin ang ating pagsisilbi. Kahit ano pong sabihin nila sa atin. Tingnan po niyo yung pagmumura nila sa akin. Wala naman po akong hindi ko po nga kilala yan. Kung murahin niya po ako, parang kayo po, narinig po ninyo lahat kung anong pinagsasabi niya. But people, I think, will not believe him. Dahil hindi po ako yun, yung sinasabihan niya. Maraming salamat po, Mr. Chair.
That is precisely the objective of this hearing, Representative Marcoleta. So, are you requesting that Mr. Epipanyo be called to be invited for the next hearing?
By all means, Mr. Chair, I will thank you for that.
COMSEC, please take note. The said person that has been mentioned earlier by Representative Marcoleta will be invited for the next hearing. Before we proceed, may I acknowledge the presence online of Representative Mix Villafuerte, Representative Sandro Gonzales. And finally, can we now present the committee video presentation with the interpellations?
Mr. Chair,
Yeah.
do we have other bloggers that we have today? We would like to know if there are other bloggers present right now.
COMSEC, can you read again the vloggers present and those who are absent?
Your Honors, in attendance for today's meeting, the following vloggers: Ms. Elizabeth Joey Cruz, Ms. Ethel Pineda, Ms. Crisette Laureta Chu.
Mr. Chair, if they're here, we'd like them to stand up and acknowledge the recognition.
We already did earlier. I just told them to raise their right hands. Anyway, we have 18 invited social media personalities or quote-unquote bloggers, and I don't know how many are present. But anyway, We'll now proceed with the... can you read again the the bloggers present?
Ms. Elizabeth Joey Cruz, Ms. Ethel Pineda, Ms. Grisette Loretta Chu, Mr. Mark Anthony Lopez, Ms. Mary Jane Kiambao Reyes, Dr. Richard Tesoro Mata, Attorney Trixie Cruz Angeles, and Mr. Mark Louis Gamboa.
So there are at least about 7 to 8 out of 18 social media personalities present.
Mr. Chair, some of these bloggers have their lawyers with them. So I'd like to find out if these lawyers would be allowed to
I think former Secretary Silvestro Bello is standing as lawyer for the social media personalities, correct?
Yes, Your Honor. I would like to confirm that we represent Ms. Crisette Chu as our client, and the other bloggers and who are here present and who have their own counsel, but we collaborate with the third counsel, Your Honor.
Thank you. Representative Paduano.
Mr. Chairman, can we ask Attorney Bello? Sir, can you mention all the names that you represent as counsel? Kasi po, for the information of everyone, si Attorney Bello po has already entered his appearance during the previous hearing, where in fact he was allowed to speak for on behalf of the clients during that hearing. Now, just to reiterate, Attorney, Sec, paki-mention po kasi we have invited at least 18 bloggers, and present as of today is only 7 or 8 mentioned by the COMSEC. So who are those bloggers being represented as counsel by former Secretary Bello?
Yes, Your Honor. As I stated earlier, we represent Ms. Crisette Chu. And in addition, Your Honor, as collaborating counsel, we have the following bloggers, Your Honor. Ms. Mary Jane Reyes, Ms. Trixie Angeles, Ms. Joy Cruz, Ms. Aaron Peña, Mr. Ahmed Paglinawan, Ms. Ethel Pineda Garcia. That's all, Your Honor.
Mr. Chair, how many of them are present?
Can you count, COMSEC? Ilan ang social media personalities na present in your record? Out of 18. Correct. My estimate was 8. Representative Paduano.
Thank you, Chairman. Anyway, out of the 8 mentioned by former Secretary Attorney Bello, ilan po yung nandito ngayon?
8.
No. The client being represented by Attorney Bello.
They are 7, Your Honor.
Present today?
Yes, together with our client, Ms. Crisette Chu.
And those absent today, out of 8 ata yung, you mentioned 8 names?
In addition to our client on record, Ms. Chu, Your Honor, we are collaborating with the counsel, with their counsel, Attorney Gonzales. They are only 6 present this morning, Your Honor.
And who are those absent today? Paki-mention na po yung absent. Para ma-check lang po sa record dun sa invitation that was sent to them. Kung ano pong status nun.
We only represent, Your Honor, those, in collaboration, only those who are present this morning, Your Honor.
Only those?
Yes, Your Honor.
So that's, Mr. Chairman, that's on record that they will only represent those present today.
Yes, Your Honor, those present today. Only in collaboration with their counsel on record,
Sec, hindi ko po ma-remember if the co-counsel of those bloggers have already entered their appearance during the previous hearing.
No. You don't want. Your Honor, our recollection is only to our counsel our client on record, Ms. Chu. As to the other bloggers present this morning, we only appear in collaboration with their counsel on record, Your Honor.
So, all this counsel for those other bloggers present today. Nandito ba?
Ano ba? Ano? Okay.
O, ito na, magsasalita na yung mga vloggers.
Yes, proceed. I give you 2 to 3 minutes for a statement.
Good morning, Mr. Chair and Your Honor. This would be my individual statement. I am appearing before your esteemed committees
Si MJ Kiambao
upon your
Reyes.
invitation as a resource person and to give due honor to and respect to our public institutions. Ako po si Mary Jean Kiambao Reyes or MJ Kiambao sa Facebook, co-founder ng isang humanitarian organization. I am actively involved in providing assistance to indigent pediatric patients and communities affected by natural disasters for almost 2 decades now. And as such, I'm exposed to the sufferings of many of our countrymen. Dahilan kung bakit ho masidhi ang aking layunin na labanan ang korupsyon na siyang nagdudulot ng masidhing paghihirap. Nauunawaan ko na ako po ay ipinatawag sa hearing na ito bilang isang resource person ukol sa usaping fake news. Dahil sa mga nagkalat na balita ngayon kung saan labis na nadudungisan na ang aking pangalan at nadidikit sa mga salitang fake news purveyor, pogo bloggers, China paid, narco blogger, nadudungisan ang pangalang pinakaiingatan at ko at ng aking mga magulang, kaya nais ko lamang po sanang linawin ang mga sumusunod. Bagamat walang masama sa pagiging isang blogger, I cannot really categorize myself as such. Ako po ay isang karaniwang Pilipino lamang na nagsusulong ng good governance at free speech mula pa noon bago pa man lumaganap ang paggamit ng social media. Hindi po ako pro or anti-Marcos or Duterte or any other politician. Ako po ay pro-good governance. Sumusuporta po ako sa bawat pinuno at bawat Pilipinong nagtataguyod ng maayos at malinis na pamamahala at malayang pamamahayag at pagpuna. Hindi po ako taga-balita. I am not a journalist. I only react and opine to news and current events online. I criticize and yes, I admit sometimes I have my biases, but I do not hit below the belt or resort to ad hominem statements. Issue-based lamang po ako. Lalong hindi po ako nagsusulat o deliberately nag-share ng fake news. Bagamat hindi ko pinasok ang mundo ng pagbabalita, ako po ay isang mass comm degree holder. Isa rin akong editor-in-chief noon at dala-dala ko pa rin ang mga pinag-aralan ko at code of ethics ng mga mamamahayag. Ang bawat opinion ko at reaksyon sa social media ay base po sa aking katotohanan. Katotohanang ayon sa aking karanasan, pinaniniwalaan at prinsipyong pinanghahawakan. Hindi po ako tumatanggap ng anumang bayad o pabor mula sa pogo, sa narco, China o sa kahit sinong politiko. I have always been against all forms of gambling and illegal drugs. Kabilin-bilinan po ng aking mga magulang, magdildil ka na ng asin. Huwag ka lang magnakaw at huwag mong ipagbibili ang iyong dangal. Nag-aaral po ako ang maigi at kumayod ng gusto para maitaguyod ko ang aking pamilya at ang aking sarili sa marangal na paraan. Kaya masakit po na madikit sa mga ganong salita na yung mga fake news purveyor at narco-bloggers. Ngayon naman sa usaping China at West Philippine Sea, I do not claim expertise on this matter. Ang sa akin lamang bilang isang Pilipino, marapat lang na protektahan natin ang bawat isla ng ating bansa sa legal at mapayapang pamamaraan. I am afraid, Your Honor, na wala po ako masyadong maiambag sa usapin ng fake news, pogo bloggers, narco bloggers, as I am not in any way involved in any of that. I also cannot claim expertise on social media and blogging. In fact, my SOCMED account is not even monetized. Now, given my limited knowledge on the topics of this legislative hearing, ang maimumungkahi ko lamang sa ngayon ay dalawang bagay lamang. Una, labanan po natin ng fake news sa pamamagitan ng paglalabas ng mas maraming reliable information mula sa iba't ibang ahensya. Pangalawa, and more importantly, paigtingin po natin ang edukasyon ng bansa. Gawin nating mas matatalino ang mga Pilipino so they themselves can more easily decipher what is true from what is false. And I think everyone here sa mga kasama ko sa social media support the efforts of the TRICOM. We agree that free speech and freedom of expression must be protected and that fake news, disinformation must be eradicated. These are our common grounds that unite us. We wish TRICOM every success. Yun lamang po sa ngayon ang aking maimumungkahi. Sakaling may mga issue sa mga susunod na pagkakataon ukol sa free speech, anti-corruption at disaster relief operations kung saan mas doon po ako linya, at doon yung mas marami kong maiaambag, ay handa po akong makipagtulungan. Muli, maraming salamat at magandang umaga po sa lahat.
Thank you, Ms. Reyes. Just a reminder to the members, after the statements or discussing the issues, we will proceed to the interpellation. As usual, we have a rule for those who would like to interpellate. Please have your names listed for a proper and orderly hearing. Your name?
Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. Ako po si Dr. Ethel Pineda Garcia, 64 na taong gulang at isang manggagamot. No, ako po ay pinadalhan ng imbitasyon na dumalo sa hearing, sa unang hearing, kung saan ako po ay magiging isang resource person tungkol sa fake news.
Pero lapit po yung mic. Reminder to all the members and resource persons, may problema po tayo sa audio. So when you speak, please ilapit lang po yung mikropono.
Salamat po. Nang ako po ay pinadalhan ng imbitasyon na dumalo sa hearing kung saan ako po ay magiging isang resource person tungkol sa fake news at ang pagpondo ng mga pogo at narcos, ay nasurpresa po ako dahil sa mga sumusunod. Hindi po ako gumagawa o nagsusulat ng news o balita. Ako po ay nagkokomentaryo lamang sa mga nababasa ko. Sa aking pagkakaunawa ay maroon tayong kalayaan na sabihin ang ating mga opinyon sa mga pangyayari at sa ating kapaligiran ayon sa saligang batas. Wala po akong kaalaman sa pogo at narcos. Ako po ay nag-aral ng mahabang panahon. Nalalaman niyo naman po kung gaano kahaba ang pag-aaral ng medisina at pagkuha ng espesyalisasyon. Sa akin pong panig ay 2 beses po ako nag-specialize. At nag-practice ng medisina sa hangad na mabuhay ng marangal na di umaasa sa iba, lalo na sa masamang pinanggalingan ng pera. Sa aking pananaw, at ito ay sinabi ko sa unang sagot ko sa committee, ay hindi ako karapat-dapat na resource person dahil sa wala akong alam dito. At kung may issue tungkol sa kalusugan, tulad ng sinabi ko, ay handa akong tumulong sa gaano man na aking makakaya. At ito po naman ay ginampanan ko habang tayo ay nagkakaroon ng pandemya sa COVID. Kasama po akong dumulog sa Korte Suprema dahil nais ko pong malinawan kung ano nga ba ang dapat. Nananalig po ako na ang batas ay dapat sundin ng lahat. Ang aking pamumuhay ay simple lang. Wala po akong karanyaan. Ang buhay ko ay itinuon ko sa pag-aalaga ng aking pamilya bilang breadwinner sa mahabang panahon. May anak akong nangangailangan ng special na alaga at may ama akong 95 years old na umaasa sa akin. Kahit ako ay mag-isa na ngayon sa buhay, ay nagsisikap akong itaguyod sila sa abot ng aking makakaya sa malinis na paraan. Wala po akong kapangyarihan maliban sa isinasaad ng batas na ating mga karapatan. Ang aking lakas ay nanggagaling sa malinis na konsensya. Kasiyahan na nawa tayo ng may kapal.
Okay, thank you. Yes, 2 minutes.
Good morning. Ako po si Dr. Richard Tesoro Mata. I am a pediatrician for more than 20 years sa Davao City and Panabo City. Naging health blogger po ako about 7 years na. So yes, I have some experience na about social media. At tumabot na din ng about 3 million yung ating total followers. I understand that I have been invited to this forum as a resource person in aid of legislation. So here's po my 2 cents. Agree po ako sa inyo, Your Honors, na dumadami na po ang mga fake news online. Karamihan ay mga clickbait, yung gumagawa ng fake headlines para mapunta ka sa online shops dahil may commission sila to earn or just to gain more followers. Meron ring mga intentional na fake stories in order to destroy someone's reputation. Do we need to make a fake news law? In my opinion, may Cybercrime Prevention Act law na po tayo, which nasa inyo na po yan if you need to amend it. Noong March of 2024, isang former senator na married to a celebrity ay nag-file ng cyber libel sa isang YouTuber dahil sa mga malicious and fake stories about them. Based on that law, cyber libel is defined as the act of defaming or making false statements about someone online through computer system or...
Patuloy natin doon kasi mga grandstanding lang yun nila. Nag-ugas kamay lang, mga kababayan. Biglang nagbago yung mga tuno. Yung isa may paiyak-iyak pa si Dr. Ethel Pineda. Hindi na kasi mag-concentrate na lang sa panggagamot. Sumama sanay ng mga vloggers ng mga DDS. Di naman sana problema kung sumama. Basta mag-observe ng tinatawag na ethical standard. Sumubra eh. O ngayon, napakinggan natin si PCO Secretary Jay Ruiz. Ito po mga kababayan.
Very big fight against fake news. The Presidential Communications Office is pleased to speak at the Joint Committee hearing the Committee on Public Order and Safety, Information and Communications Technology and Public Information. The issue of fake news, illegal gambling, deep fakes, pornography, hate speech is the biggest fight right now of our generation. It destroys the very fabric of our society, and we have to protect our children not only of fake news, but all these bad things that we see in this technology platform that we have. But more on the bloggers, we should concentrate a regulation on the platforms. The platforms like Meta, TikTok, YouTube are foreign platforms. They do not have a base here. When you complain for these posts that we can take down, it takes a long time. So we have to focus on the platforms, first of all, to self-regulate them. If you want self-regulation, or maybe come up with an operational system between the PCO, DOJ, and the DICT to identify these fake posts, to identify fake information. You see, what's happening to us is we are being divided online. It's very polarized. And yet, it's Filipinos and Filipinos fighting each other. It is not good for our country to see our countrymen being divided by hate speech, by pornography, that's very easily accessed by our generation. You know, I was talking to the West Philippine Sea earlier about communicating the West Philippine Sea issue to our countrymen. I said never again that the Philippines will lose any part of our country, just like what happened in Sabah. In the Sabah issue in the 1960s, if you look at it, Sabah was owned by the Royal Sultanate of Sulu for a long time. The Malaysians were paying rent to the Philippines. We tried to get it and claim it as our own. But what did the Malaysians do to us? They pitted Filipinos against Filipinos. They supported a Muslim secessionist movement in the South using religion and race or against each other. Filipino Christians, Filipino Muslims fighting each other. So eventually, because they divided us and eventually conquered part of our territory, we lost Sabah. And imagine if Sabah is like as rich as Mindanao, even probably richer than Mindanao. The Petronas Towers were built because of the minerals and properties of Sabah. It's happening again. This is happening, but now a foreign actor using fake news to destroy each other. So what we want on the PCO side, we urge Congress to join our digital crusade against combating fake news by strengthening our laws, such as the Cybercrime Prevention Act, and introducing internationally accepted policies and standards for content moderation on social media. I respectfully encourage our honorable lawmakers to consider the framework of the Digital Services Act, a recently adopted EU regulation which prevents illegal and harmful activities online and the spread of disinformation while still ensuring that the freedom of expression is upheld. The danger right now, sir, the greater danger right now, aside from fake news, is deep fake, wherein you put a person's face on another person. There were several complaints raised with the PCO that said, "Sir, tignan mo naman, may mga known personalities recruiting on advertising, mga scams. Yung mga OFW natin, nai-scam. Dahil nakalagay yung boses ng isang kilalang personality o isang kilalang negosyante, pero hindi naman totoo yun. Imagine if you put the head of the COMELEC commissioner doon na ang nagsasabi, akala mo deepfake din. It is a national security concern that we really have to fight, not against each other, but collectively, we fight together. We fight as one. Because, you know, the fight against fake news should be prioritized. We said before, right, it was the fight against illegal drugs. But in this generation, the fight against fake news, deep fakes, they bring so many social media ills. Look, we now live in two worlds, the cyber world and the real world. The children right now spend more time on the cyber world. And if you give them constant disinformation, if you give them constant lies and negative news, what will happen to the next generation of Filipinos? We will forever be divided, just like what's happening in the United States. It's now happening in our country. It's so hard now to reach out to the yellows, to the greens, to the reds, or wherever political camp you belong to. What we need to do is to unite. Look at what happened, example, to Congressman Rodante Marcoleta. Pinagbumura siya. Nilait-lait ang kanyang relihiyon. Tama ba yun? And yet, there's no regulation. There's no regulation. There's no punishment. So, on the part of PCO, we're trying to come up with an operational system wherein the DICT, the Department of Justice, and PCO should come up together to take down all these posts we consider national security concern and posts that divides Filipinos and spreading of fake news, and also the fight against illegal online gambling on the internet. It's not just fake news. There's so many ills there. But of course, with technology, there's good and there's bad. It can be a force of good, but we make sure that online, the voice of truth should be louder than lies. it should always be louder than lies. Because now, a lie told 1,000 times drowns out the truth. We don't know what the truth is anymore. So we make sure here, as PCO, we make sure that in PCO, our foundation are truthful facts. I urge everybody here, let's get our acts together. We are not the enemies. We should stand together. The enemy is fake news. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Sec Ruiz. Before we could...
Very well said. PCO Secretary J. Ruiz, mabuhay. Labanan ang one-man factory ng fake news. Alam na ninyo sino. Kaya yung mga followers, sila yung nagdi-distribute ng mga manufactured stories na fake news galing sa pabrika. Nandun, imbitado. Kaya lang hindi lahat mga kababayan dumalo. But anyway, importante, may mga dumalo na at kumambyo. Nagpilato, mga kababayan. Firmax Firming and Lifting Cream, pinapahid po sa mga pulses in affected area. Mainam po sa paninigas ng mga kaso-kasuan. Ito naman po, Automax Radiant Serum. Sa mukha naman yung application, anti-aging po siya. You will look 10 years younger than your age. Sa mga cancer patients naman po, baka lang gusto ninyo itong itry. Naing siya red mixed fruit drink. Hindi mo po siya gamot, food supplement siya. Kaya lang, gawa siya mga kababayan sa goji berry. Yung goji berry may anti-cancer properties. O ngayon, yung mga inquiries ninyo, dumiritso na lang kayo sa aming messenger sa Facebook para masagot namin agad. Ayos pa? Ayos na ayos niya, Mr. Maravilla. At sa mga nagana po ng malinis and spacious fitness gym, pumunta lang po kayo sa aming Colossal Fitness Gym. May Grab Car Rental din po kami. Ito naman po yung bago naming product na binibenta online. Eye Glow Serum, whitening po siya. Tingnan ninyo yung epekto sa aking anak na architect before and now. Yung mga inquiries po ninyo, dumiretso na lang kayo sa kanyang Facebook account, Riz Maravillas.